Okay. I think, are we good? Should we get started?
Yep, I guess so. Chandra, you okay?
Yeah.
Very
I
good.
can
Okay.
start.
So I will do the introduction first then. Welcome everybody, right? To the second meetup for this year, right? We'll thank everybody for your time. I know that it's also a work day and it's taking at least an hour of your time in this day to be here, right? So I appreciate that. But definitely, this meetup will be recorded and you can always refer back to it when and as that you need, right? We will post the YouTube recording link on the meetup page itself, so at least you get to access that. So today we are privileged to have Chandra. He's a regional solution architect in Ingram Micro itself, and he has done a lot of good things with Ansible automation platform. So we have invited him today to share more, right? All the good things that he has done, and as well, he's going to go through things what he has done within Ingram as well, right? What are the offerings that are being provided within Ingram Micro? So Chandra, handing off to you.
Okay, thanks, Derek and Anthony. Right, I'm going to share my slide, which have around 30 plus slides. So I'm going to share. Give me a second. I will share a window. Share. Do you see my screen in presentation mode?
Yes.
You're good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so this is the agenda for the day. I'll give a quick introduction myself and Red Hat Summit, what we have, and one slide for the Ansible. You know, the community, what we have here, I assume everyone know about Ansible by saying that one, my colleagues and friends also, a couple of them join here. So for the benefit for them, I will explain what exactly Ansible within that one slide. And then after that, I will go through the use cases and success stories, what we have. Shoot me any questions in any point of time. So feel free to, just we can make this as interactive. So this is what, I mean, in 2018, I get an opportunity to learn Ansible. Red Hat conducted a training, the whole APAC wise, and all the APAC region solution architect joined during that time. I didn't still remember, I met Anthony during that time. So we had around 1 week training and we came back and did all the necessary work that has been, what they has been assigned to us, so on and so forth. The later stage, we attended two Red Hat Summit. One is in Taiwan and one is in South Korea. So that is something we gain a lot of knowledge, what exactly by using Ansible, we can create, so on and so forth. So you can see my name card over there, so you can take the reference. My LinkedIn also shared there, so any point of time, you can visit there if you want to know anything more about. This one slide for the benefit of those who doesn't know what exactly Ansible means. It's a open source project funded by Red Hat. So it have two main components. One is engine and the other one is tower. Engine, anyone familiar with those Linux commands, simply download it, play around with it, get familiarized with it, so on and so forth, right? For the Ansible Tower, that's the enterprise version which came from Red Hat them directly. So by using Ansible Tower, you can do the controlling, securing, managing, extending your entire infrastructure. So later I'm going to show the use cases, what has been built within Ingram Micro itself. This slide from Red Hat itself. The purpose of this slide, it's all about, automate the entire IT footprint. But, you can do the orchestration, manage configuration, deploy applications, so on and so forth by using your firewalls, load balancer, application containers, so on and so forth. Just take note, Ingram Micro is the global distributor for the entire IT footprint, what you see on the screen. Whether it's a firewall, load balancer, or whatever you name it, we distribute it. So we do have the privilege to accommodate one or two devices in our lab, and we can do the integration, right? So that's the reason why we managed to get this much of integration, make it possible within our data center itself. This slide again from Red Hat. So you can see on the screen there are a couple of brands you are familiar with day-to-day basis, right? So what we did here within our Ingram Micro lab, those colored in green boxes, we already have the integration built in our solution center. Most of them, so close to more than 50-60%, we already did the integration. Going forward, currently I'm doing that right now in the pipeline right now. The 4 different tools we are going to do the integration, and which is going to available in our data center sooner or later. So this is the kind of overall list. So according to Red Hat side, more than 1,200 plus integration is possible, and we do have many of them. So a couple of them has been colored in blue color. You can see on the screen. Now, to the benefit for everyone, just want to give an overview what exactly this Ansible automation is all about, how it's different from a manual way of doing that kind of approach. Visualize, try to think a scenario. You have a data center, assuming that there is 100 plus servers, assuming it's a Windows server, just like your laptop, servers also have to do the latest and greatest patch updates, security updates, so on and so forth, quarterly basis whenever Microsoft has been released, right? So assuming this scenario, there is some patch update and you are assigned one engineer to do the patch update. Everyone know that one, usually the production servers, no one allowed to touch during the business hours, because it will impact, if anything goes wrong, it will affect your business. So usually as a standard practice, each and every organization have their own change management policies. Usually they will review what exactly going to happen within your data center, so on and so forth. So they will review it and assign that particular engineer or more engineers what exactly the task they are going to perform. So in this scenario, they reviewed it and they assigned one engineer at middle of the night and given them 2-hour window. Within that 2-hour window, they have to do the patch update. That's a scenario we are going to try to visualize. So task has been assigned. Engineer awake at middle of the night. He is ready to do the patch update. Each and every use case scenario, there are always some kind of prerequisite you always have to meet. In this scenario, before we touch any one of the production servers, it's a standard practice. You're aware that there should be some kind of monitoring tool. Always keep monitoring your production server, right? If anything goes wrong, it will send an alert to the email alert to the right people, and they will get panic. So to avoid that, we make sure stop the monitoring as a standard practice. If there is any load balancer, they have to remove that as well. The reason why load balancer always keep an eye on the data center. If anything goes wrong, it will automatically divert into the second data center. So in order to avoid that, they may have to stop the load balancer. And when he log into remote desktop to the Windows server, there may be a couple of services up and running. So he may have to stop those services manually one by one. Some use case scenario, what we notice, it's a standard practice, assuming the customer using VMware. Within VMware, there may be 100 or thousands of virtual machine up and running. So before they make any changes on the remote servers, it's a standard practice, they may have to take a snapshot or backup before they do any changes. The reason why anything goes wrong, they can simply roll back. That's the whole idea. So they may have to do that job. So this is the prerequisite. So he performed that and he did the patch update. Then you have to bring back all the monitoring, load balances, so on and so forth. Assuming this took 10 minutes to do all the jobs, for one server. So he have to roll out the same scenario for the next 99 servers. If you are doing a simple math, 10 minutes times 99, that takes 16 to 17 hours, which we cannot imagine at all. So that's the reason why automation is getting more popular. And the current scenario, what you're going to see, if we are doing by using Ansible, we can write all the playbook in advance when the time came, or we can simply click the button, or even we can schedule it. So it will go and execute whatever the prerequisite, earlier I mentioned it have to be automatically get performed, and it will do the deployment or patch update, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And it will show you on your nice GUI screen saying that hey, out of 100 servers, 99 of them looks good. One of them may fail. Just go and take a look. So what we did here, we fast forward their day-to-day repetitive tasks. This is just one example. Each and every user may have their own story to tell, right? So we have to adapt that one, write the right playbook, and make the automate and make it available on your Ansible tower. That's the whole idea. Make the life easier for the system admin guys. So by doing this, the customer will get a consistent and stable production environment. That's the whole idea, right? So each and case scenario, the engineers doesn't like to waste timing on troubleshooting unnecessarily. And when you look at the point of the view of from a system director, if the system admin can do all his job within the time frame, whatever he's getting allotted, he will be more than happy. Think a scenario like a CIO. If one tool can manage entire infra, whether it's a Windows, Linux, or networking device, whatever you name it, they prefer to go for it. The reason why, they don't want to spend unnecessary money to buying too many tools to manage too many devices, so on and so forth, right? So they prefer to do that one. So in order to get this kind of success criteria, let me go through the Ingram capabilities, right? So we do have success stories. So I'm going to show you that one right after this. We carry most of the vendor brands that I mentioned earlier. So we are the global distributor, and we do have the certified architect and engineers within our team. And we always align with the partners and end users. So, by this way, we can reach out to the customer through partner always and try to understand what exactly the requirements are and so forth. One of the another advantage, like I mentioned earlier, we can integrate most of the vendor brands since we carry those products. We can bring in our lab, create the use cases, and show the demos and so forth. So we do have that kind of privilege. Red Hat always do, the partner ecosystem. So that is one of the advantage what we have, right? So Red Hat, whenever there is an opportunity, they try to engage, right? So we can take that opportunity, we can create the use cases on behalf of Red Hat and show them the demo and show them the POC is something is really possible in a secured and automated fashion way, right? The vendors, since we align with each and every vendor, whenever there is a specific requirement, for example, let's say Cisco, assuming the customer using Cisco and they have specific requirement, I want to do this kind of specific scenario. In that scenario, we can try to get that specific requirement and talk to that particular vendor and try to get the specific requirement or help or troubleshooting scenario, whatever it is, we can check with the vendors and come back to the customer. So that is one of the another advantage what Ingram have. Now, try to think a scenario of nowadays, most of the enterprise organization have many data center in all over the places. And also the public cloud getting more and more popular, and they are trying to put all their infra into public cloud also. So if you try to visualize or try to think yourself, if Ansible able to manage this kind of wide area of the networking device or any type of servers on so forth, whether it's possible, you can ask that questions on so forth. So answer to that one, yes, it's possible, and we do have the success stories. Let me go through to the first success story what we have. So this management university, they are based in France. They had around 400 plus Windows, Linux, and networking machines. And they do have campus here in Singapore and also the data center, close to 70 plus production servers based in Singapore. And a couple of them they do have in Abu Dhabi and also in public cloud. So one of the main requirement from them is it's all about, the server is all over the places, too many data center and too many different devices and so forth. So they want to manage everything from a central location. When they say central location, they mean by from France, they want to manage all the device from remote location like Singapore or Abu Dhabi or any public cloud. So it doesn't matter where it is, they want to manage from France. First requirement. Second requirement, doesn't matter whether it's a Windows machine or a Linux machine or any brand of networking device. They don't want to spend, buying too many tools. If single tool can manage everything, they prefer to go for that one, right? So they reach out to Red Hat, and with Red Hat, we, myself and Anthony and team manager, we went and visit the team here in Singapore. So they have specific requirement, like the solution architect, he specifically mentioned something like, even though they are using SCCM to manage all their Windows servers, their specific requirement, something like, they always search for latest and greatest patch update from Microsoft. When they do the searching, they download and do the deployment on the testing server. Just want to make sure everything looks good before they deploy into the production server. So one of the specific requirement. Second one, the CIO mentioned similar scenario, like if one management platform can manage everything, because they already spend a lot of money buying too many tools. So if they can, if we can prove that everything can manage from a central location, they prefer to go for that one. System admin, they mention late night efficiency won't take place because they are the one awake at middle of the night and doing all the job, right? So if they get some kind of automation tool can manage everything, they prefer to, adapt that kind of tool. System director, he don't care whatever you do, make sure doing the right way, secure way, and everything can manage from a central location and everything can be finished on time. He preferred that one. The reason why, end of the day, he's the one responsible for all the entire data center, because he's the one how to report to the senior level management. So we walked through the scenario mentioned earlier. So he have to, the system admin have to do the searching, downloading, installing, rebooting, so on and so forth. And he always do the testing on his testing server. When everything looks good, then roll out to production server. This is the scenario we have to recreate as a POC. They really want to, before they award this project to us, they want to see this kind of scenario. So what we did, wrote the playbook, 4 different playbook, one for search, download, install with and without reboots, so on and so forth, and enable the WinRM on their testing server. So when the demo time came, so we click the button and show them, hey, this is possible, something quite straightforward, you can manage it. So on top of that, what we showed, one of the feature from the Ansible Tower, the workflow orchestration. What's that mean? We can put the condition like, if we have that particular playbook, when it's run, we can, if it's success, then only jump into my second playbook. If it's success, jump into the third one, so on and so forth. Any point of time, if it's failed, come out from that overall scenario and do some other stuff, so on and so forth. So on top of that, we tell them like, we can get the approval process from the management level, senior managers, so on and so forth, before they roll out to the production server. So something is possible from the Ansible tower itself. So show them the live demo and they like it, right? So one of the second scenario, they mentioned something similar to this. They do have the engineers all over the places, different locations, so on and so forth. Usually when they, early in the morning when they come to work, since it's a different location, they will always assign to some kind of task, which is based on the tickets. So each day when they select their own task, their ticket based on the task they have to perform, they want to see some kind of option. Simply select their name, the number of hours they are going to perform for that particular ticket. For example, my first ticket, I'm going to perform, let's say 10 hours for that particular ticket. Simply select the option, and when they click the button, they will get admin privilege for the next 10 hours, the number of hours what they have been chosen, and will get automatically timeout right after that. So they really want to see that, and so wrote the playbook for that one and showed them the demo, and they like it. So they asked for two more, so I'm not going to explain those two. So they finally like that overall POC scenario, the live demo, what we have been show them. Then finally they awarded this project to us. So we installed the Ansible tower in 3 separate virtual machines. The reason why, to manage more than 500 server, in order to, any point of time, any one of the server is down, the other two will take care of it. It's kind of HA scenario, high availability. In this time, it's called multi-cluster environment. So we did that one. To manage the remote location based in Singapore and Abu Dhabi, we spin up another virtual machine. It's called isolated node. So this isolated node, you already know that one, so we can connect directly to the remote central location. So this way, when they log into Ansible tower, they should be able to see all the remote location from a central screen. So they should be able to manage all the servers. It doesn't matter whether it's a Windows or Linux or different operating system or different flavor, they should be able to manage from a central location, right? So all the networking devices, so on and so forth. Now close to 2 years, there's one of the happy customer, and they're doing quite well right now. Second success story I want to go through with you is the insurance company. Close to 25,000 virtual machines they manage. They do have so much of servers all over the places in their global data center. That's including Windows, Linux, networking devices, so on and so forth. So one of the first requirement what they asked for, they mentioned something like they have so many abandoned machines. So they are asking to find out that abandoned machine, and once we find out, we have to do the patch update on those machines, because since they never did it so long, then we try to identify what exactly this abandoned machine, what they mean by. Even though they are using SCCM to manage all their Windows machines, so the scenario they explain similar, like, their engineers, they try to spin up virtual machine. When they spin up the virtual machine, sometimes they forget to join to the domain. The drawback with SCCM, if didn't join to the domain, it cannot handle it. It cannot manage it. So since they forget, so it's considered as abandoned machine, never did the patch update so long. So to manage, one of the solution what Anthony proposed is do a scanning, a rapid 7, by using the REST API. So we triggered that one by using Ansible Tower and did a scanning. So found out there are 24,754 devices on their entire data center. So I wrote a small script to scan their SCCM. So scan it, pull out all the IP address that managed by SCCM. And we did the difference and noticed around 200 plus virtual machine. They never did the patch update so long. So, we've given them all the IP address and given the script to update all their patch management, so on and so forth. That is one of the second success story I just want to share. The third one, specific to networking devices. This one is the one of the exchange company based in China. They have data center here in Singapore, or close to 200 plus 200 plus Juniper and Cisco devices. So these guys have some kind of security and compliance check. To do that one, they have around 50 plus networking commands they have to execute on their 200 devices. So what they hired one junior engineer just to do this job. Those 50 commands they have there in their text pad. So his job is copy that networking command from the text pad, paste into their CLI window of their networking device, and whatever the output, he have to copy back, right? So he have to copy and paste close to 10,000 times, right? So he's a kind of repetitive task. So, and he have to submit the report, whatever it is, submit to the management end of the month. So he's doing this kind of repetitive task again and again. So what we did, wrote two playbook, one for Cisco, one for Juniper, and put all his 50 commands into that playbook and push the button. So it will go and execute all the 50 commands against all the 200 device. And whatever the output, it will write into a CSV file. So end of the day, click the button, take out the CSV file, his job is done. See one of the another customer. So to summarize everything what I mentioned so far, what we did so far by using Ansible automation platform within our lab, we did the integration with the Windows and Linux machine as a start, then followed by networking device and firewalls, and forward then after that storage, public cloud, security, and infrastructure. So we did all the necessary integration and make sure everything works fine. Then followed by we create the functional use cases, followed by the way Red Hat proposed. So we came up with that kind of menu, right? Then that lead to the success stories. So we came up with all the success stories on and so forth. This is the scenario based here in Singapore. What happened was then I joined to the APAC team around 5 months back. So joined to APAC team, recreated all the scenario and put everything, all the integration put in our lab. It's called TEC lab. So the announcement going on right now. So anyone, any point of time, if you really want to see the demo, feel free to come to us. We are ready to show the demo. So you can see on the screen, there are so much of integration has been done, and there are many use cases has been deployed there all in one screen, right? So what we did, so we transfer the knowledge, the use case scenario to all the countries. So we did the enablement for all the 9 countries. So, times 9, what we did it here in Singapore. So going forward, all the 9 countries going to, adapt the same journey. And we are doing all the marketing right now. So trying to reach out to the more audience to adapt this Ansible journey. So it's happening right now. It's doing quite well. So that's the current stage. So going forward, our plan is, to adapt our OpenShift, right? So which is something on the down the line. So we do in our lab, we already deployed our OpenShift as a trial scenario. So we are going to make it a large scale scenario going forward, and we're going to create more and more use cases. And it will be the demo will be available within a couple of months' time. Right. So any point of time, feel free to come to us. Now, who is Ingram Micro? So I already mentioned we are from Ingram Micro. So Ingram Micro is the global leader of the global distributor for all the products that we carry. So we do have the 49 billion in revenue in 2019. You can see the number of customers, vendors, the numbers, everything on the screen. In APAC itself, we do have the 11 billion revenue, right? And you can see that, just to let you know, that we carry most of the brands that currently available on this market right now. That's what we are. So this is my last slide. So let me switch to my desktop and quickly show you the Ansible Tower demo. I'm going to stop sharing and let me share the entire screen. Okay, I assume you can see the screen, right?
Yes, yep, we can. You're good.
Okay, so this is my browser and I key in my IP address. I'm going to log in my tower right now. So when I click the button, you can see the nice dashboard, which all of you are familiar, most of them, right? So let me directly jump into the template here. So what you see on the screen, the earlier I showed the integration has been done. So I didn't put, the scenario, for example, Microsoft Azure itself, there are 100 plus modules available right now. So I don't want to put all the 100 modules here as a demo case. Instead, I put it only two. The reason why the whole idea, the whole purpose is it's all about just to show you that we are capable of doing the integration and show the demo based on the customer requirement. That's the whole idea. Right, so that's the reason why we put it only a couple of the scenario here. You can see on the screen, you can see the Microsoft Azure, couple of the scenario for Cisco devices. That's including, the backup of the entire image and show the configuration and do the health and compliance checks on and so forth. Juniper devices, Linux scenario, NetApp, Palo Alto firewall. Let me click the next button. QRadar. I just finished the QRadar integration, IBM QRadar, VMware scenario, Windows machine, and also the more and more. So more on the down the line, and any point of time, if you want to see any live demo, feel free to approach to us, and we are happy to do the demo for you. So for the benefit of my friends and colleagues, just let you know that this is the tower it's all about. Whenever we try to install this Ansible tower, there should be always some one-time configuration. We have to do the one-time organization. We have to create the organization, create the users, couple of users here, and create couple of the teams. The reason why, when we create that particular user, we can add that particular user into the specific team, so we can segregate that particular user from, not to access the specific project or inventory that not belongs to. So when, for example, the scenario like when a Windows user log into this tower, he will be seeing only the Windows related projects or his inventory, so on and so forth. Within the inventory, we can add the number of devices you want to manage by using Ansible Tower. It could be any number there. And also we can create the specific project that currently run by each and every organization, so on and so forth. So within the template itself, right, let me quickly show you. Once I click one of the template here, you can see that the inventory has been created earlier, the project has been done, and the playbook, the right playbook, which I wrote it. It could be either local machine or on GitHub, wherever it is, we can do we can pull out from there. Okay, so this is the end of my quick demo. We are open for discussion, questions, if there is any.
Thanks, Chandra. Guys, any question? Feel free to ask.
Yes, I have a question. So, like I have previously worked on with integrating Ansible Tower. I come from the vRealize orchestration part, so I'm an orchestrator developer, and I have done some integrations with the Ansible Tower in past. However, I would like to leverage more of the Ansible Tower capabilities, like the Ansible capabilities in short. But I don't know like how to start with those. So, do you recommend anything to start from scratch on the like the YAML side, on the playbook side? How can I develop? How can I start? Because I know the orchestrator part, I know the integration with the APIs. So the only remaining is on the Ansible side, the playbooks, how to write playbooks and all that stuff.
So it's more about how to learn Ansible, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you guys may not be aware, but there is actually like a free training that you can take. I just posted in the chat group. It's actually the DO007, right? It's zero cost, right? So you could actually try and start from there just to get some basic knowledge of Ansible. That could be a good starting point.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. But having said that, I mean, with vRealize automation and all those things, VRA, you can definitely use, when you create a blueprint, you can integrate with Ansible Tower via REST API. So that's one of the common integration. Post provisioning of the virtual machine and using vCenter, what you can do after that is configurations, right? So that is something common. So
Yeah.
you may want to look into that area.
Yes, yeah. So with the VRA 8, actually, they have out of the box integration for Ansible. So that is why we wanted to explore more on that. Thank you.
Correct. There is the underlying piece. When we were talking to the guys from VMware as well, they did mention that there is this native integration.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Mhm. Of course, there's another thing called the Ansible Galaxy, right? So Ansible Galaxy really is a piece whereby the different people from within the community actually uploads some of those stuff that they've written, right? We have also, like more than 20,000 different rows collections that's available today in in the Galaxy, right? So that could be one place that you can refer to as well. Of course, having said that, right, Galaxy is fully open source, so some of those things may not be production grade, so you need to use with caution. Of course, from a Red Hat perspective, we have this automation hub whereby we actually have certified content that's running inside. Right? So that is another alternative. Any other questions? I mean, maybe I'll post another thing, right, which is on the free workshop that we have these days as well. So it's actually a workshop that is in GitHub. It has some exercises. It gives you some idea on what you can do with Linux automation, right? So these are just a few links for you to get started. It should be able to help you to get, or at least appreciate the basic stuff around Ansible. And of course, if you need anything at all, feel free to reach out. We have Chandra, myself and Derek. We're actually from Red Hat. Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, no, I just pasted in the chat a Google form, right? So appreciate everybody's time, and also if you can give us some feedback on how we can improve the session, as well. If there's any other topics that you guys would like to listen to or hear more about, right? We will take that feedback and then we will, act on it, right? So just help us take some time to do the feedback form. Right, appreciate that. Is there any other questions for Chandra? On his content, or any other things pertaining to the Ansible
Yeah, I
platform
have one
itself?
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, just I would like to know. I want to install the Ansible Tower for training purpose for my own skill improvement. So can I go for, because in several tower it will ask for the license, right? Any 1 month free subscription is there, so I can install, I can do that. Do you have any idea on this?
Yeah.
Just
So
posted the link.
yeah. So Anthony just posted the
Yep.
link on the chat, right? You can have a trial duration, right, to use Ansible automation platform. So you can at least give it a go, right? Once if you are ready to use it fully, then you can always let us know, or any one else in the region that is pertaining to the Red Hat account itself, right? You can always contact them. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check with him. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
So this is good for 60 days. So you can try it for 2 months.
Okay, okay.
So I see in the chat there is a question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to know what will be the minimum requirement. That means suppose anyone asks for the automation of their IT department. So what will be the server requirement? Say a 50 or 100 or what?
When you talk about the servers, you're referring to Ansible Tower, the VM, or you're referring to something else?
No. I am referring to a physical servers.
As in the one that we are managing, or the one that you want to install Ansible on?
No, for the managing purpose, not for the installation of.
Okay, so for managing, which means the target server, right? You need to have at least Python 2.7 or Python 3 installed on the target server. So that is if you are managing a Linux or Unix machine. You know, it can be things like AIX, Solaris, right? It can be a Ubuntu, it can be a RHEL, you know, those kind of systems. But you need to have Python running. For Windows, the bare minimum that is needed is actually .NET version 4 and above, as well as WinRM, PowerShell 3.0 and above. Pretty much, if you have a Windows 2012 R2 server running, right, it will have satisfied the minimum requirement, because WinRM is there by default, right, and PowerShell plus .NET version is also available. If you have a 2008 Windows server running, which is already end of life, right, and end of support, then what needs to happen is that you need to upgrade the PowerShell version from 2.0, which is the out-of-the-box default, to 3.0 and above. Pretty much, you are using OpenSSH to connect to Linux and Unix, so you need to make sure that the OpenSSH access is there. You need to have a user that can actually use SSH keys, for instance, to go into the target. If you need to do something that is requiring the sudo privilege, then you need to make sure that the user is a sudo user, those kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Then if it is things like Cisco ACI, which is more towards network automation, then REST API, right? So it means that your port 443, for instance, right, should be open, so that I can talk to the the Cisco ACI. Juniper will be things like netconf. Yeah, those kind of stuff. So that's the way that we communicate with the target.
Okay. Got it.
I think that there is another question on the versioning, right? So the stable release today, 2.9 engine, right? So you will see that. I think someone was asking about 3.0 and 4.0. There was a change in the mapping, right? So if you were to strictly look at it, 2.10 is actually mapped to 3.0, and 2.11 is mapped to 4.0, right? So we will be going with 4.0. And I mean, today, if you look at the documentation, it is going to be 2.9 dev, right, and 4.0. So 4.0 will be the one that we will be going with. Hence, it's a bit different. But don't worry too much about that. Those things was because we were transitioning out. We were starting to use this thing called the collections, and we kind of trimmed down the entire Ansible core, right, to the core components, and using collections to add on top of it. That's why you will see that there is a pretty drastic change, right, in terms of the documentations, as well as how we do the mapping of all this versioning. But just be rest assured that 4.0, it will be stable after that. I hope I answered the question. I think Terry was asking, right?
That was good. That was a good question, right? Anyone else has any other questions as well? Right? I think you guys
Hi,
can look forward to.
Chandra.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm planning to implement the same scenario for automate security patches on Linux infrastructure, but we don't have Ansible tower, and I have some, I can say, some pre and post checks to be include part of playbook. So in terms of, we have a production environment where we need to first check the health status, and then followed by stop the cron jobs, and followed by stop the services, and then followed by apply patches, and then again once the patches are applied, then reboot the systems, and then followed by on the, I can say, on the orderly manner, I need to stop the service, start the services again, and then enable cron jobs and enable monitoring. So these are all the sequence manner I need to perform the task by tasks. Do you have any reference, I can say, if any reference GitHub repositories which you have something similar? Maybe I just wanted to understand the flow, and then maybe use or reuse in my situation. I can say some pre and post checks to be include a part of applying patches. So, but we don't have a Ansible tower. Is there any reference, like if anyone already implemented such kind of scenario?
Well, I mean, this flow is quite common, right? The only thing that is going to be different is what kind of health checks you are doing and against what kind of systems, right? Because sometimes when you're trying to run a patch upgrade on, let's say, applications, right? When you do it on an app server, there will be certain things that you are trying to do in terms of checking what kind of processes is running, whether or not everything is up and running. So I mean, there will be some generic ones outside, but typically it has to be customized for your specific case. And then we'll chain it together in a single workflow, right? With pre-health checks, and then perhaps running the patching, and then after that, post-health checks. And if you need to do a restart as needed, or a rollback, right? If something goes wrong. Chandra, you wanted to say something? No.
No, you already.
Oh, okay, I saw that you raised your hand. Okay.
No, sorry.
Yeah, but there will be some out there. It's just that it may not fit the exact use case that you're looking for. But by and large, your flow is correct. It's just that there will be certain things that has to change. For instance, like checking health checks on, let's say you are checking on MS SQL server, right? You want to make sure that it is good. You may be checking things like whether or not you have enough disk space before you do the upgrade, and whether or not the system is up, the service and whatnot. So you'll be using things like service module and those things.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Anyone else has any other questions? I hope that this session has been good, right? And again, do help us get your feedback from you guys using the form, the Google form. We will be happy to receive your feedback and also improve our content as well. Any other questions before we wrap up the session today? Right. I think if not, I think we're good. Right. Thank you everybody for coming and attending. We can always look forward to you guys attending the next session. We'll be happy to provide more use cases or more demos as well. Right. So I think that's about it. Right. Everybody take care and stay safe.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for nice
Thank
information.
you.
Nice presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra.